Hello everybody, my name is Alan. I'm from Sauber-Lab and today will be another application for Docker. In this video we're gonna show how you can install Wiki-JS. And before we go ahead and explain what is this application and how you can do this installation, you're gonna understand why I want to install it. And it's simple. If I come here in my webpage, I have my blog, and here in my blog I post how you can install Llama. And here if we go down in this post, I have all the steps and everything that I needed to know. But I don't have any option to search, and if I don't know exactly what I'm looking, it will be a little bit different or difficult. In this way come Wiki.js, na qual will work really similar for a Wikipedia or something. You can have all your posts here, a little bit different. You can make more simples. You can create some indices for your posts, so you can create some different applications, and in this way you can search everything. And not only it, you can have integration for lots of applications and lots of other systems, either for backup or either for some interactions that you want to do. So in this way we're gonna show how to install this application and how to do the basic configuration. If you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show in this video. But first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel, and let's understand a little bit more about it. So before we start to go through the installation, we go to the basics. Here it's the Wiki.js website, and they say the most powerful and extendable open source Wiki software. And if we visit this js.wiki, we can understand a little bit more about this application. First thing, they can run with different systems. They can work directly in the Docker, what we're going to install in this video. They can run with Kubernetes, macOS and Windows servers. Also, they are open source, so it's totally free to run. If you come here, they will show the admin panel, how it's work. And if you go a little bit down, they say you can install anywhere, you can have a nice performance, you can protect yourself, you can scalable if you want. So if you have a lot of traffic for different places, you can have more than one server running and it's gonna work quite well. You can have admin, and it's really easy to install this application. If you go here, they tell which kind of application, which kind of integration that you can have. So we have authentication, editors, media, redirection, search, storage, themes, and continue on. And they say that has been downloaded over 50 million times in their GitHub, so has been downloaded quite often. And here they tell a little bit more the integration that you can have, and they will explain more and more things. And here they give them the options for self-host or digital ocean market. In my case, I will do a self-host, but I'm not hosting my local machine because this application will be a website and I want that people access it. And if I live in my network or in my local machine and have external access for it, I need to configure first the external access, and if I have lots of traffic, my network will be congested and I don't want to do it. So the best options is get a VPS and run it. In my case, I'll use the Oracle Cloud because I have an instance run there and it will make everything easy. So if I come here in my Oracle Cloud, I have an instance with Ampere system, so it works with ARM system and have this IP address. This machine has been created a few time ago to run Nextcloud in one of my previous video, and that now I can show how to run this application. In this way, they already have Docker installed. Remember, in this video I will not show how you can install the NX Proxy Manager or Cloudflare Tunnel to have SSL certification for external access to this website. I will only show how you can install this application and some basic informations. So if I come here, I already have my Portainer installed. This reason that I'm jumping it. So to have Portainer installed, I need to have the Docker installed in my virtual machine. So I install Docker, I install Portainer, and I have here in this page. What I'm gonna do, I will come here in my stock and I will create a new stock. If I put add stock, the name of stock that I will create will be Wiki.js. Before we start to type anything, we need to find this stock or this Docker Compose to be able to run it. In this way, I have here all the instruction. Basically, if you go here, this is the template that you can have if you run this Wiki-JS. You can have all this application the same way. You can browse it, or you can search some information. So if I want to do Docker Compose, they'll search it and they will say that have Docker Compose in the Docker. So if I click here, they will bring for this application. This is how the Wiki.js will work. In this way, you can have some basic informations and they will explain quite easy for you, and here all the information, and here it's the way that you can look for it. So let's go here and Docker Compose again, put enter, and I will open my Docker again, and here it's what the way that we're gonna apply, or how the way that we're gonna install this system. So they will use the GitHub packaging, and they will explain a little bit more about the environmentals. The environment that we need to have, it's those host, port, user, path, name, and they will run well with MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, MySQL, or SQLite. So in this way, you need to put the IP address of your host, ports, user, and continue on. If I come here, if I want to have a SSL certification, I can use the own Let's Encrypt domain, or I can configure something externally. In our case, we'll not configure it, but I suggest you to have a look in the proxy manager, NGX proxy manager, and make this configuration. If I go a little bit down, here's some example for the Docker run, use Postgres or use MySQL. But if I continue down, here it's the option for the Docker Compose. Also, they say that this image will work in ARM, so they will work in ARM64 as a Raspberry Pi, or anything early than that, up to Raspberry Pi 2. Of course, if you have the first generation for Raspberry Pi, they will not work. In our case, we are using the Oracle Cloud, where have the ARM64, so it will work really well for us. And here it's all the Docker Compose. So I will copy this information, and now I can go back for my container and start to configure this application. What I need to know, if I go all the way up the revisions tree, I have my database here, and they use Postgres. If Postgres don't work with our ARM system, we can change for a MariaDB, that I know that work. But if I'm not wrong, I do believe that this Postgres will work well, so we'll keep the same configuration. Here they will say the name of the DB or the database, here will be the password, and here will be my user. Now, driver, I'll put no, and restart policy to be unless stopped. Why it's important to keep this unless stopped? Imagine that's your server restart. If you leave unless stop or any other option, if your server restart, all your application will stop to work. This means that if I put a policy unless stop, if your server restart, this application will restart together, and that will be running once that's all the Docker is up running as well. And here will be the volume. What I always say, you can use the portainer volume, but if you want to backup this information or copy it for another place, it's a little bit more tricky because you need to go for this specific volume. And if I come here and open, they will give this volume, and sometimes you have a permission issue. To make sure that everything's running well and smooth, the best option, you change it. This reason that I will put /mmt /docker /wiki/gs, and here will be the new location. So in this way, if I want to copy this information, we'll go directly by mmt, my folder docker, and my folder Wiki-JS, and copy this database information. Now if I go a little bit down, this is the application that we're going to install, and they will download directly for GitHub. Here's the dependent that will be the database, so they will not start to run this one unless this database is working. And here they say the type Postgres. If you change for MariaDB, you need to change here for MariaDB, otherwise not work. Host DB, the port that they're using, and the user, password and other things, and they will use the same restart policy. If I go a little bit down, here is the port that I use. I can see a problem for this port 8. If I leave port 8 and I use the proxy manager, potentially they can have issues because they will have conflict. Two applications use the same port. This reason that I should suggest you to change for port 3000. In this way, you can access directly for port 3000. Other thing that now we can remove is this volume. Why? Because I moved this absolute path for MMT, so this volume is not recorded anymore. And now that I have all configured, I can come here and put deploy this stack. In this time, they will take some seconds until they do the download and deploy this stack. Once that has finished to deploy the stack, I can come here in my container, and here I have two applications. The first application will be my quality database, or the database where we have all the information, and here will be my wiki. Only wiki that you can access, QualityDB don't have a specific port because it's not made to have external access for it. So now to access this application, I can use the same IP address 2.3000. You're gonna ask, Alan, what's the best way for do? And I will say, don't do it, don't use directly the port, configure your Cloudflare tunnel or configure your own proxy manager before you do anything. Because in this way, once that you go for the next step, they will ask what's your website and that you configure it right. Because I try to make short this video, I will not show how to do it, so I'll use port 3000. So if I come here, I will put port 3000 and I open here. First time that I open, you need to configure your admin rights or admin users in order to access it. So in my way, my admin pass user will be this one. My password I will put here, and here will be my site. Because I don't have a specific site, I'll use exactly the same that I'm using. Otherwise, I really suggest you to use your own website. The same way that I show in the previous image that I was doing wiki.sauber-lab.com. So here I can leave allowed because I want that developer to see any issue that I have, and I will put install. In this stage, it will take some minutes because they will start to install all the applications and will start to install everything in order to make it work. Once that finished install, we can go for the next step and start to configure anything else. Once that appear complete install, they will appear this next page where we can start to do our configuration. Now we need to log in as our admin, so we're gonna do it. Once that log in with my admin, they will show this page. In this way, I can create my home page or start as admin. We're gonna only go for the admin options. Create your own page. You can come here and you can start to define what kind of editors and everything. You need to go step by step to understand better, but our main task is to go for the administration. In the administration, you have all the things that you have. You have your revision that you're running, how many groups, how many users, and how many pages create. And here they say contribute for the application. If I go in general, here will be the website. Of course, you can change it, and you can change the topics or the title of this website. Here will be the logo that will work. You can download the new logo or add it according from your needs. Let's stop here. Here will be the company. Here will be the license that you use. Here will be the foot that you want to put as a description, site description, index, and what kind of extension that will have. If you put allowed comments, people will be allowed to comment in your publications, or if you don't allow, do not be allowed to post it. So now we go to location. Here you can define different language. Suppose that you wanted to write in Arabic, you can add Arabic and it will be working. If you want Bulgarian and others, and here will be the percentage of the language that it's working or available. If you go for look like one that is only 1%, it means that it will not work so well, and if you go one that is 100%, it means that 100% of the application is working and that you can translate 100% of the system in Chinese. If you go for, I don't know, this language, they will have 0%, so they will not work so well. Here you can define what language that will work, And if you want to have more than one language, you can put mute language and select here. In this way you can have a part of your website running, I don't know, in English, and another part of website running Portuguese. In navigation, you can define the way that you want to make the menu. If you want to have the classic tree on the top, it's here. If you want to have the navigation in the site, will be this option, and you can disable the navigation or make some custom according for your needs. In my case, I will not move, I will leave this as a standard, and then come here in my page. Here in the page, there will appear the list of all the application, all the pages that you already post. In this way, you can know what is going on and what's the page that you have. Tags, you can search all the tags that has been done. If you wanted to define another website or anything, here they will make a filter for you, and here will be the theme. Here you can inject some configuration, but you need to know a little bit more about CSS, otherwise they will mess up. So they put caution: if you don't know what they're doing, don't do it. You can have some default, but you can add more themes as well. Groups, you can define the groups, so you can have a guest group, you can have a admin group and user groups, and all the time that someone will create a new user, they will create as a user or other thing, depending on your application. Users, you have the guest and the admin. The guest, it means that everyone can see it, and the admin will be, or the admin can then modify. If you want to make a private website, remove this guest and create some users according from your needs. Analytics is this way that it's interesting. In the part of analytics, you can add some extra analytics for you, look like you can link for Google Analytics or other applications. In this way you can monitor where the people's accessing or what time that they're accessing or any other information that will add information for you. If you go for authentication, you can have some specific ways to authentication. What I suggest you to use two-factor authentication to make your system a little bit more safe. Otherwise, anyone can go there and try to brute force your password and access it. With some specific authentication, it makes the life of the hackers a little bit more difficult. Comment, here you can add the way that you're gonna monitor your comments. So you can put comment, you can put the default one and how long they will delay for post. Reading, or how they will configure your website. In this case will be this information. If you want to do any specific rendering, you can configure it differently. Search engine, it's when you go in the top here and you search that specific thing. You're gonna have different ways to search. You can have a basic database, or you can have look like using some specific ones according for your needs. Of course, if you go for your AWS, you need to configure it for this AWS and other things. Storage will be where they will save. In this case will be local storage, but if you want to have two servers running and only one storage, you can have those configured in this way. So you can have S3 generic, you can have Amazon and other things. In this way you can configure it either for backup, or you can either configure it for have that information locked there. Two websites can connect for the same data. You don't need to have a copy for the same website. This one will be interesting if you want to have a high availability and you want to have one server in US and another server in UK running, and that people will be able to access according from the location. We'll have some APIs, some emails, secret, SL certification, system information. So here they will say what's going on, how much run that you have, what's the quantity of cores that you have, the Docker container, the host name, some utilities that you can use, look like export your date, flush your cache, import some specific information, and continue on. What I suggest, don't touch in this part of the development tools, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess up with your system, and don't do it. Unless you're gonna try something that you know what you're doing, it's better. So now, if you come here and exit, you can start to create a website. You can define the way that you want to visualize it. You can go directly for code. You can have from some templates, or you can make a pane. What I suggest you to use directly the Visual Edition and here you can edit everything. You can type the way that you want, and that when you put create, you can have home and what you create, and here the people can insert comments. I hope that you like this video. If you need to know a little bit more how to do the configuration, or you're not clear about it, leave your comment in the description and I will try to post another video. Otherwise I will leave this way. Anyway, I'm trying to create this week for my Sauber-Lab website. In this way you can have all the full blog, or you can have only the prompt, or only the compose or information that you want in an easy way. The good thing that in this way you can search. If you go directly for my blog post, you cannot search. So if you like this video and think that it was interesting, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not yet, and see you next time. Bye.